Okay, hello everyone. Not everyone, we are still waiting for people to join our live broadcast. And today we will talk about work online with youth. But we will wait maybe around 1 minute, 2 minutes so that people will join us. Okay, I see some people already joined. If you can hear us, please just write a comment, or if you can see us. Okay, anyone? Please just write a comment, leave a comment if you can see or hear us. Okay, great, perfect. Nice, more people are joining, so I guess we can start. My name is Karolina and I represent HEureka Generator organization. Right now, we have a training course called Erasmus Plus training course called Work Online with Youth. And this is also the title of our today's broadcast, because we will focus on telling you about our experiences connected with working online and also studying online. And that's also the topic of our training course, where we are just learning about some tools that can be helpful with the working online or studying online, and sharing with others our experience. So maybe let's start with introducing ourselves. Can other speakers tell shortly your name and which organization do you represent?
So, hello everybody, my name is Ondřej and I represent the informal organization for youth from Košice.
Hi, my name is Claudiu and I'm representing the Evolution Association and I'm from Romania.
Aziza, we cannot hear you. There is some problem with the voice. Still, we cannot hear you. Okay, maybe you can try to do something in the settings, and we will just start with the questions. And if you don't manage with the voice, just maybe you can join Claudio if you cannot. If you still will have some problems. Right now, we can go maybe to the questions. So I would like to ask the first question. What experience do you already have? What experience connected with working or studying online? For how long did you worked or studied online already? Maybe Ondřej.
Okay, thank you for work. So I started 2 years ago to study online, and now I think that I am already quite experienced in this stuff. Right now, I am not working regularly with online education, but I think maybe in future I will come back to this issue. So I hope I can develop myself more, and we will see where it goes.
Thank you very much. What about Claudio?
As the pandemic situation make us change our habits, we experience a changing from learning in a traditional way, face to face, in changing into an online setting. And we learned that it is possible to learn and to work and to do a lot of things in an online setting, which was a big difference from what I've experienced for hundreds of years. And this is a very big step in our society.
Thank you very much. Aziza, do you still have some problems with your microphone? Yes, I see you still have some, we still cannot hear you. Maybe you can just leave your laptop and join Claudio so that you can use it together with him so that we could hear what you are saying. Okay, so she will come and we will hear her soon. But before she will do it, I can also share some of my experiences with working and studying online. Oh, actually, maybe not studying, when doing some online courses. This live broadcast is also part of working online, and I think that it's completely different experience than doing making or organizing meetings, for example, offline. It's a completely different thing than doing it online, because you need to think about more about the technical stuff. We have the example right now, so unfortunately, that's some problems with the sound, but it's a really good opportunity to just have some new knowledge and learn how to deal with this kind of difficulties. So Aziza is already with us, so maybe you can share also your experiences.
Hello everyone, sorry for the inconvenience. My laptop was not working, so let's start with introduction. My name is Aziza Mehek and I'm from Hungary. I'm representing the organization which is called ISKKA, SAGET, and talking about my experience. So yeah, because I'm a student, so I have been through all this situation, and all my classes were online for like 2 semesters, and I've experienced, like, my experience was quite good at the beginning, but I think so nothing can substitute like the in-person education, because apart from education, I have been participating in different activities, like in order to engage myself, because we were socially isolated from all people. So in order to just make myself more social, I was participating in different youth activities, which were really good. I got a lot of like benefits, a lot of advantages, but still I think so there were like a lot of issues, like internet problem, and we were having issues with webcam and all these stuff. So it was good, but like it was having like a lot of interruptions and all this stuff. Yeah, so that's all.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing. You said that there were some problems with this online classes. How do you think, is online studying better than the offline one, or maybe it's not so easy to say? What are the biggest drawbacks and the biggest advantages in your opinion? Maybe Andre.
Okay, so I think both of the options, they have advantages and disadvantages. I think it's very individual thing, but for example, for me, the disadvantage was that I missed the social interaction, and I had to behave a bit differently because I was studying online and in different environment. On contrary, I developed my skills by using online and applications very much. And also I learned something about time management because I needed to approve it because of online studying.
Thank you very much. So yeah, as you said, your lifestyle also changed because of that. You had to learn the time management. So maybe Claudio, can you share how your life changed, or what was the biggest change when you started to study online?
One of the biggest problems which I encounter is the fact that sometimes we need to use some specific equipment and to gather some experiments in the lab, and which is a bit hard, for example, to control a computer in a lab. And things are very different from in front of the computer, and you cannot compare the interaction you have when you do experiments in the lab with working in front of the computer, because half of the work uh, it cannot be duplicated in an online world.
Thank you for sharing. What about you, Aziza?
So yeah, regarding me, I think so. For me, it was like a big change, like moving from in-person education to like shifting to a virtual platform. It was like kind of new for me, but with time, I got adjusted with the method. I think so. It's good. Like it's kind of good because like it made me able to get used to the technology. Like there were a lot of good stuff over there in internet. There are a lot of apps which are really good, which are really helpful, but I was not aware of them because like. I never like I didn't got the opportunity to use them, but like when the education and all these activities they like shifted to online and virtual sessions, so I actually got to know about like all these technologies and I use them and I gather like a lot of knowledge. I think so now. I consider myself as like a technologically educated person, but like before that I was not. Like trust me, I was not. And yeah, and apart from that, like you all are well aware that like online education or online sessions are not perfect, but like for this pandemic, for this situation, that is the only option that we are having, because like health is wealth. If we have health, then it's like everything. So yeah, that's all.
Okay, and apart from the online education, you also said before when we were talking that you organized some meetings online. How was it like from the side of the organizer? How did it look like? How did you manage to gather the participants and to make them involved in it?
Yeah, so yeah, I have participated. Like I have been participating in different youth programs and in different organizations in order to organize different events online. It was really hard because, like there are so many activities. Like we have been used to in-person connections and in-person activities. We know a lot about like how to capture the attention of the audience if we are doing something in person, but like for online it was totally different. It was like really hard at the beginning because like I was not aware that like how to keep them alive, how to make them focus on that, because like there were no any such activities which we can done. But like then I got to know that like we have so many things that are installed in specific apps that we were using. Well, for example, I was using this Zoom for my university presentation, and I was using Skype for different events or organizations. So there I got to know that like in Zoom you can like divide the participants into like split rooms or breakout rooms. So it is kind of a good thing because like when you split them, then it's like kind of new thing for them as well, and then they are actually like interacting with other person, like they are working in a group. And apart from that, like even in Skype you can like upload screenshots, you can upload pictures and all this stuff, which was interesting. And actually like they worked out because like the participants, they were participating, it was new for them. And even within Zoom, like you can also create like voting and all these things. So there are so many applications that are installed within like specific apps. You can use them to make it more creative. So I think so you can make it more creative through all these things. Yeah, and I use them. That's all.
Thank you very much. That was really interesting. And as you mentioned, there are some ways to keep the attention of all the people while you when you organize offline, but it's a bit different when it's online. Maybe some other, maybe Andre, do you also have some tips, maybe how to keep the attention while doing this kind of online meetings?
Of course I do. So, well, at first it was even for me quite difficult to pay attention all the time and be concentrated. But then I got some ideas how to be better at this point. So I was switching off my mobile phone and I was trying not to use other technologies during the time. I was also trying to prepare the environment better for study, so I wouldn't be distracted too much by other things. And it really helped me a lot, so I could do a better job during the online studying.
Thank you very much for sharing. So yes, you said that you actually wanted to pay attention to that class, but sometimes it's difficult when the others don't want to. And that's the question, how to make them maybe more interested in your presentation. Claudio, do you have some experience when you were making some presentations, for example, how to make online presentation interested for someone so that they will pay attention to it?
For example, it's important not to just be one person which talks and the other ones are just hearing. It's important to involve them in the process. And for example, we can use Kahoot and other application in order to make the communication be directional. And for example, there's one application where uh, the users are choosing several words, and the words which are the most used, they are becoming a bit bigger, and so you can see a kind of collage with different items, and the most important ones are highlighted. Also, you can use multiple of games, for example, quizzes, and so on and so forth. So there are plenty of things you can use in order to get the people who watch you involved.
Thank you very much. So this kind of application, you used them, or they were also used by some teachers, or it was used by students?
It was used by teachers, by students, and also by in some presentation made by some companies, for example.
Okay, so it also can be used at
In the
work.
work.
That's interesting. What about you, Aziza? Do you have something to add to this?
I want to add like some points. I think so. You can make online presentations, or we can say the virtual platform, like really interesting by using different kind of apps. And there are so many apps, and there are so many technologies which you can install, and you can just use them to make your presentations like really good and interesting. Well, for example, if you want to create a kind of presentation, like if it's a group presentation, then you can use like Canvas, and you can share the link with all of your group members, and you can actually see like what they are doing. It's just like one platform, like it's just a one presentation that you are sharing with the whole group, and you are able to go into the other slides, like you can change them, you can edit them, and you will also got to know that like how much they have done, and what are they working on. So that is really interesting. You can use that. Apart from that, like there are so many things, like you can also use the simplest things like Google Documents and Google Forms, or Microsoft Excel, and all these, and you can also share the link with other your group members, and you can work together. So yeah, that was important and that was useful. So I suggest everyone like do use them. Just try on, you will get to know more about it.
Thank you very much. So maybe for the end, I have one question. What is like the biggest problem for online work or online education that you face, and how did you manage to solve this kind of problem? Maybe Andre, can you share with us?
Yes, I mean, it's something what I already mentioned. I miss the social interaction. Sometimes it is very difficult when you speak to the screen and you don't get reactions, but I think there are some ways how you can manage it. And I think most of the people after some time, they know how to manage this kind of problem. And what I can say most about it, again, well, I would like to join the fact that the people maybe in the beginning they have some technical problems because they don't know how to use the tools. But if they make some preparations or they will practice a lot with the tools, they will know how to manage it. And I think we can eliminate technical problems after some time.
Thank you very much. Yes, technical problems always appear, and it's really difficult to solve them sometimes, but somehow we can learn how to manage it. But you also mentioned a very important thing, that the social interaction. When you only meet people online, sometimes it's really can be a problem, but some schools or universities have this hybrid system that, for example, a few days a week they meet online and a few days they meet offline. Claudia, what do you think of this kind of solution?
Hybrid studying can avoid the advantages and the disadvantages of the both things. You, for example, have the opportunity to meet colleagues and interact them, and also to do some of the things which are practical things and which cannot be digitalized. And also has advantage that when it's not 100% necessary, we can be still at home in safety, and that only the most necessary thing put us in danger of getting this disease. And I think that hybrid education right now is the best option because it tries to solve both the problems of the both worlds, after all.
Okay, thank you for sharing your opinion. What about you, Aziza? Do you think that the hybrid education is a good idea? Maybe you have some experience connected with it, or not only education, also it's with work is the same. Like going to the office, for example, once a week, and then working remotely for the rest. What do you think?
I think so, because in these times, like the pandemic, it has just got over the world. So I think so. It's a blessing that we have the option to go online, and hybrid is really good option because I think so. It is really burden for teachers, like for working hard. We have to put a lot of efforts because it's not just like they are going online, like everything is there and they're just presenting. It's just like they are actually working on it, and then they are presenting online, and then they have to make plans for like in-person education. Like there is a lot of workload for those who are working over there, who are working on the projects. But I think so for students and for those who are just getting the knowledge, it's easy and it's good. And yeah, in this pandemic, this is the only option, and it works really great because many countries have recently they have shown the result that like there is a huge number of decrease in number of cases. So I think it's working out and it's good.
Thank you very much. Okay, so you shared a lot of interesting things with us. Thank you for that. And I think we can now ask all the people who are watching us to ask also their questions. So if you would like to ask something or leave some comment, just please do it right now and we will try to answer. I see we already have one question. I will read it. What are your tips to focus on your studies, not other things, when you study online? So I think already Andre said something about this. And what about you, Claudio and Aziza? Do you have some tips?
I think the best tips are to disable your social media accounts because you'll be less tempted to stay on the phone, even though you are online. And I think this was for me the biggest tip. So technically, you don't feel the need so much to scroll on your phone because you blocked your own accounts. And after you finish your tasks, you can reactivate your accounts and to spend your free time as you want.
Thank you. What about you, Aziza?
So in my point of view, I think so. Like when you are having any online class or any online activity, so my advice is that like just do participate because like participation is the good thing and it will just keep you away from all the technology. For example, even if you are not, if you have not disconnected Wi-Fi or if you have not turned off your social media notifications and stuff like this, but if you are participating, it will increase your enthusiasm and you will be just like, oh, okay, I want to participate, I want to be part of this. So just do participate, and if you start participating in every activity, then you will, you will get your way. Like you will get a kind of I can say inspiration from your own participation, and yeah, that's the only thing. Like it was working out with me.
Thank you very much for your answer. We already have another question. Do you think that online education can be successfully implemented at some point, and how? Maybe Andre, do you want to answer this question?
Yeah, of course. I can. Very good question. I think it can be implemented, but honestly, it needs a very serious attitude. And the second thing, it needs a lot of preparation. So we should think, more about all the difficulties it can bring. But I think we need to develop the know-how in the reason we will really need it, and how we can implement. One option is of course, the hybrid solution, and I think maybe we could start with hybrid solution, and then we will see how it will work. And after the results, we will be able to say more about the implementation, how successful it was.
Yeah, we still have a lot of time, I think, to get used to this online education because it's quite a new thing for us. Okay, we have also another question. Could you name the best online app or page that you used during online education as a student? So only one, the best. So I think all of you can share what was the best for you. For example, Quizlet, Kahoot, Zoom, and so on. So maybe first Claudio, then Aziza and Andre.
For me, for example, I find Microsoft Teams a very good application. It's not very intuitive and or user friendly, but it is very organized. So if you do multiple meetings and you need to be in multiple group of people and also to do different things, Microsoft Teams succeeds to compartmentalize everything and to keep your things in order. I think which other application don't succeed that well, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I do agree, and for me, Zoom was the really good option that helped me a lot. And apart from Zoom, Skype really helped me in my studies, and most of my teachers, they were also using it, and even I used it for group studies and all these. And if you want to do like kind of online presentations, and if you are working on in a group, then I must suggest everyone to use Canvas, or you can also use like Prezi for online presentations. Just share the link, and you can do it together. And you can also use Google Documents. Like I think so, every online application has a wide variety of tools, you can use them. So, but for me, like Canvas and Skype and Zoom, they really worked out.
Okay, so I would share my opinion too. I used mostly Microsoft Teams, but I used also Skype and Zoom. From my point of view, we have options, so we can choose whichever is the best one. However, as I say, it's about our attitude. So I think all of the applications can be very useful if we take them seriously and we really want to learn how to use it.
Thank you very much. You mentioned really a lot of applications, and I think during next years probably we will have even more of them, or they will be better and better. I hope so. Okay, so we can go to another question. What do you prefer, online study or offline study, and why? Maybe Claudio, can you answer this question?
Uh, I, as I previously said, hybrid education succeeds to do a bit of both. I had also advantages of online education, and I consider that I consider online education only like the first place, the traditional education on the second place, and the hybrid education the first place for me personally.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, and I think that's the last question will be, how did you feel when you just started to study online? Maybe Aziza, can you share it with us?
Yeah. So because it was like my first year at university, and I was so excited. I was just like, okay, like I will meet a lot of people, and it was like my first experience in Europe. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna have to like I will be having a lot of fun this and that. But like then I found right before the start of my classes that like they are going to be online, and I was really shocked. Like what? Like I won't be having any social life, no interaction, and all this. And at the beginning it was like really hard for me to manage the time, because like I was kind of really lazy, and I was just like, okay, I can like watch them later, they are just recorded classes. And but then I realized that like it's gonna like it's not for like a week or for a month, like it's for like the whole year, or maybe like we have to like it they are gonna like completely shift it to online from like in-person classes, because like COVID was increasing day to day. So then I just like I just forced myself to, is okay, you have to work hard, you have to participate, this is the only option. So it was really hard, like yeah, it was so hard, and I was mentally so disturbed. But then I compose myself, and I get back into studies.
Thank you very much. You said something about time management. The same what Andre said before, that he needed to improve his time management. Andre, how was it for you at the beginning when it all started?
I was, as Aziza said, I agree with her. I was quite excited in the beginning. After some time, my opinion changed a bit because I could see there are many difficulties connected to online studying. The time management was and is very important. So at the beginning, I had some problems with this. For example, I didn't manage to prepare for lessons and stuff like this because it changed a lot, the preparations. But after some time, I could know how to do it, and I was prepared for all our lessons. And I could see when I improved my time management, also the results were very much better.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have a few more questions. This one is really interesting. When you started to study online, do you still use your notebooks and pens? If you, or do you use online notebooks? I'm actually curious about all of you. Maybe Claudio, tell me, what are you using still, the traditional notebook?
It depends from subject to subject. Some of the subjects you can do it without any pen or notebooks, but there are some subjects which are required. For example, the one which involve a lot of mathematics, which cannot be easily done on the computer because it involves different physical calculations, and uh, it's very hard to do it on a computer, so it's much easier to do it on the paper.
So you are not using a calculator like.
I mean, for multiplying two numbers, it works, but if you need to make complex equations, it doesn't work so easily.
Okay, that's interesting. What about you, Aziza?
Yeah, for me, I do agree because it depends on the subject. For example, if you're having a subject that is like more into mathematical calculation and stuff like this, then you can't really use like tools for like, for example, Notepad or Microsoft Documents and stuff like this. Like you have to do all the calculations in notebook like step by step and stepwise. But there were some subjects like which were like more just like there was this like just lecture, no theory. So for them, I use Notepad and MS Documents and Google Documents, like because they are easy. You're just it's easy to write down like on your laptop as compared to writing them on your copy. So yeah, for lecture part, I use like Notepad and all these the applications that were available. But for theory, I used my notebook and yeah.
And what about Andre?
Well, I have some interesting experience because I used all the stuff like Google Documents, and I didn't use a pen or just a normal notebook for a long time. But I got a little bit problem because when we started to study offline again, we had to write an essay during the lesson, and I had to say I struggle a little bit because I forgot how to write an essay with a simple pen. I had a little bit problem with this. So I think we should, even if we have opportunities to write things like this with technologies, we shouldn't forget how to do it with the simple pen or notebook.
I agree, and actually, it can be really nice training for your brain when you forget how to do it and then you need to learn again. Okay, let's go to the next question. How do you think, or what is the best way to solve the issue about students that choose to cheat on their exams? Maybe Aziza, could you tell something about this?
Uh, so I think so. Like there is no, like you can't really like do anything regarding it because like you are kind of powerless regarding it. But still, like if you want to be like really transparent, then you can just ask the students to turn on their microphone or webcam. But I know still they will be making excuse like, oh, I'm not having webcam or there is no internet connection. So it's kind of difficult, like you can't control over like when they are cheating. And secondly, like I think so cheating is more about like your determination and your inspiration toward your subject. And if you are really into it, I don't think so you really find the need of like cheating in exam and all this stuff. Like even if we are thinking about like relationship, people are cheating on relationships that are not even online. So I think so for cheating, it's not like online, like being online is not an excuse. Like for example, if you want to cheat, you can cheat everywhere. So yeah, it depends on you. And a teacher can't really do anything. Like they can just ask them to turn on their microphone and webcam. But apart from that, I think so they're just powerless for this point.
Thank you very much for your answer. Yeah, it can be problematic sometimes, and it's not so easy to find a solution. But you mentioned some of the possible solutions just to reduce the number of cheating people. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Were your cost of living reduced when you were learning online? If so, then how? So how much your cost of living reduced if they reduced? Claudio?
No, in my case, the cost of living didn't differ so much because I use public transport, and I still need my public transport subscription in order to get to the supermarket. So for me, it was the same cost of living. Like I still eat, I still need to pay the rent, and so on and so forth.
And what about you, Andre?
Okay, I mostly saved for the transport, but on contrary, I had to pay, or not me personally, but my family, they had to pay more for electricity, for energies. And for me personally, I had to take care about cooking or getting a lunch, which is definitely more easier if you study offline and you can eat at school canteen, for example.
Yes, that's the problem when you have to pay more for the electricity because you are using it all the time when you are sitting at home. Okay, so we have last question. Would you rather go to school for 5 days a week, 4 hours each day, or you would do online learning 2 days a week, 10 hours each day? So you have like two options: 5 days a week, 4 hours each day going to school, or 2 days a week, 10 hours online learning. What do you think, Aziza?
I think so. Like personally, I'm kind of person like I really like social interaction and I really like the in-person education. So I would go with the first option, like 5 days a week, because like being in front of like blue screen all the time, it's like really exhausting for me as compared to going to classes and have interaction with your teachers, with your friends. So I would prefer the first option.
Okay, thank you. What about you, Claudia? What would you choose?
Honestly, I prefer the 2 days of online learning because it make them more compact and is much easier when you have 2 full days and other days are empty, so you can schedule different things, activities, for example.
Yeah, I think it all depends. What do we need? If we need more social interaction, or do we want? And also, it depends on how can we manage our time. So, I think there are people are different, and it is not like it would fit to everyone. So it's really hard to decide if you, for example, were from school and you had to make these classes for your students. Okay, I think we don't have any other questions or comments, so we will slowly finish this live broadcast. So thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for answering all the questions. And also thanks to our viewers for being so active and for all your comments and questions also. So yes. Okay, so right now we are going to finish. Goodbye, thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye,
Thank you very
everyone.
much. Bye bye.